Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for jumping on. This is the Blanks spot. We are a sublimation blanks and t-shirt transfer adhesive, vinyl, and banner supplier located just outside of Columbia, South Carolina. And wanted to come on today specifically to talk about things that you need to consider before starting a t-shirt business. Now, this live will not be for everybody, so be kind, and if it doesn't apply to you, just keep on swiping by. But if it does apply to you, feel free to come in and ask some questions. If it's your first time here, definitely drop your city, your state, whatever your country of origin, your location, to let us know where you guys are tuning in from. And then also, if it's your first time here, don't hesitate to type a number one to let us know it's that is your first time. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Like I said, I'm broadcasting from Columbia, South Carolina. Um, would love to have been in the office right now, but um, I guess paying our internet bill is not enough to get good internet. So they're having some issues right now at the office, and hopefully later on we'll be okay. But for right now, broadcasting from the house. So once again, we are a sublimation blanks t-shirt transfer and adhesive, vinyl, and banner supplier. First and foremost, guys, we're business owners. To anybody out there who sees us on any of our lives, any of our platforms that we're broadcasting from at any time, you see a video replay, we are not crafters. Okay. I want to make that plain and clear. We're not crafters, we're business owners. So you may see us doing something and you may say, well, hey, I'd love to learn how to do that. And you know what? I know that there's lots of people who are on these platforms who would love to tell you and share everything they can with you, but that's not us. We are business owners. We provide products and services, and some of our services do not include showing you every little thing. So as a business owner, there's a level of responsibility that you have to take into consideration. There are some crafters out there who love to brag about not being gatekeepers and tell everything, but I would challenge anyone to say that they're on social media platforms sharing everything for free. There is a reason behind what you're doing, and just know that nothing's for free. You're either going to come on here and you're going to share your time and some likes, and hopefully, get our platform boosted, help us to monetize our platform, or you're going to be buying some things. So if you are a first timer, once again, type a number one in the comments. If you've been here before, welcome back. We're going to be talking about starting your business, your t-shirt business, and some things that you should be considering before you get started. So, to all of the craft owners out there, craft business owners out there, to all of the craft business owners, the t-shirt business owners, the t-shirt makers out there, and you're saying, hey, you know what? I really want to get started with my t-shirt business in 2026, guys. We're still at the early stage of 2026. It's not too late to get started, but there are some things that you want to consider asking and following up with before you get started. Now, this is not going to be an exciting live for a lot of people because I'm not standing behind a heat press. I'm not standing behind a huge printer showing you things, but we are still broadcasting and advertising a part of our business, one of the services that we provide, and that is our business membership. Now, our business membership is Build and Grow with TBS membership, and it shows you step by step how to build a strong, solid business. However, you have to decide whether you want to start a t-shirt business or you want to just have a side hustle. If you're looking to do a side hustle, there are some benefits to being a side hustle that you can actually take advantage of. And those are some tax benefits. You have to actually understand that part. But if not, and you just want to make some money under the table, this live is not going to be for you. This information is not going to fit your mindset. But for all the business owners out there, for all the people who want to be legitimate business owners, for all the people who want to take advantage of the tax deductions, the tax breaks, understand how to leverage a business, how to use this to keep and save and make more money, there's some things that you're going to need to know as far as your business. So we're going to talk about the front end of the business first, the front end of the business. And we talk about this in our business membership often, whether it is something that's planned conversation or whether it is questions that our members ask after our scheduled trainings. people ask different questions and they want to know, what do I need to know to start my t-shirt business? Well, you guys get an opportunity to ask these questions, and I'm going to answer them as much as I feel comfortable answering them without sliding our membership in your face, because it is at the end of the day about making money. But there are two sides of your business that a lot of people don't think about, that they don't know or understand. And it is because many people find themselves attached to popular social media creators, craft content creators. I call them craftators. They find themselves attached to these people, and they are getting drawn in by one simple phrase. All you need to do is. That is the most common marketing tactic that anybody can use when trying to sell somebody either a class, a product, or a service. All you need to do is. Well, business is not like that. And on this platform that we're going to be talking about the truth about a business, not just a t-shirt business. This applies to any business, but specifically a t-shirt business, because we are in this arena. We're in this lane. We deal with a lot of people who are crafting, creating, designing. They start off, wanting to make some more money for their family, to help them get a little bit more income, to live a better life, to be a little bit more comfortable. Maybe you want to get some vacation money. You want to get some tuition money. I don't know. Maybe you want to plan for your child's future. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, it's a lot of things that goes on when you're talking about starting a business. And one thing that does not go on, I promise you, before I would lie to you, I would lie with you. The one thing that does not go on in a t-shirt business is that you need to be able to just only make things. Having a t-shirt business, starting a t-shirt business is more than just learning how to make items. So this is why I lose most of the people who are following us or who are watching us. I lose them because my favorite craft content creator told me that they have this brand new spanking craft challenge that's coming up. And I'm just excited to be a part of this craft challenge. If that craft challenge is not making you money, then it's costing you money. And if you want to start a business, specifically a t-shirt business, there's some things that you're going to want to know before you get started. One of the things that you're going to want to know is, what type of t-shirts are you going to make? Meaning the process that you're going to use. There are several different t-shirt making processes that are available. Most people get started using HTV. That's heat transfer vinyl. They use their Cricut, their Silhouette, whatever other cutting machine that they use. They use their design software. They make that design. They cut it out. They buy their t-shirts, their garments, whatever they're going to put it on, and then they say, hey, you know what, I'm going to press it. Now I got a finished product, and I want to sell it, or I want to wear it. I want to parade it around in it, whatever the case may be. But I just made a shirt. I made a garment. It doesn't take a lot to learn how to make or press a t-shirt, but there are some things that you're going to need to want to know. Once again, what type of process am I going to use? I'm going to use HTV. Another process can be sublimation. You got to know what those processes mean, what they require, and what the limitations are if you're only making t-shirts. If you're going to use screen print transfers, if you're going to use DTF transfers, if you're going to use rhinestone transfers, if you're going to outsource and have someone do screen print for you directly to that garment, if you're going to have someone do direct to garment printing, it's a lot of different processes that are out there. White toner transfers. But you have to know which one you're going to do. And the person that's selling it to you, they're going to sell you what they want. So if you don't know what process you want to do, then how can you honestly say that you're ready to start a business? I know the truth can sound negative. The truth can sound the opposite of motivational or inspirational. But the truth is the truth. You also have to know what type of garments you're going to use. Are you going to use cotton, poly cotton blend? Are you going to use polyester? You have to know these things. See, this information doesn't just come out of the sky. it takes research to understand what items you need. And in our business building membership, we answer these questions. We talk about these things. Helps you to get a different perspective or a better understanding about what you need to do to get started and how you can keep going. See, starting a t-shirt business is not about getting a heat press, buying some t-shirts and getting any type of transfers. As a matter of fact, a lot of people will lead you to believe or have you to believe that all you need is one type of transfer process. That's not true. You need to have access to several different types because your customers that you're going to run into are going to have different needs. But let's talk about before you start your t-shirt business, what you need to know. You need to make a determination. You need to make a decision. If you're indecisive, maybe this is not going to be for you. But you need to be able to decide what type of process you're going to use. How are you going to make your t-shirts, and what are you going to do to use to make those t-shirts? That's going to be important. Another thing you need to understand is how are you going to acquire your t-shirt transfers and also your t-shirts? Are you going to go directly to a vendor? Are you going to go directly to a supplier? Are you going to go to a retail store? Most people that are just getting started, the first thing that they're looking for, especially crafters, crafting minded individuals, the first thing that they're looking for is cheap supplies, free information, and a way to make fast money. Now, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong and I'm cool with it. But that's the first thing that people are looking for. Free information, cheap supplies, cheap products, and fast ways to make money. Because, you know, that job is taking you 8 to 10 hours to make money. It's taking you 1 week to 2 weeks to get paid. It's taking you 5, 10, or 15 years to get out of the debt that you found yourself in because you made bad decisions, not understanding how this thing works. But anyway, knowing the type of t-shirts you're going to use, the type of garments you're going to use, knowing the type of transfers you're going to use, it's going to take you doing the research. The person that's selling you the equipment, the supplies, they can sell you what they want to sell you. As a matter of fact, there's a group of people who are selling transfers right now who will stand by the type of product that they're selling, whether it's a good product or not, you know. But those are things you're gonna need to know. Not asking the right questions when it matters is gonna also make you want to quit, because people are going to be telling you all types of stuff because everybody wants your money. If you go into it naive, if you go into it ignorant, not knowing, people are going to guide you and direct you and pull you in all different types of ways, saying, hey, you should buy this, you should buy that, this is the best thing to use. I'm just going to be very direct with you. If you're just getting started making t-shirts, you have to ask yourself, am I wanting to start a t-shirt business where I can make money selling t-shirts, or do I want to start a t-shirt brand? The two things are different. Starting a t-shirt brand means that you're going to have to build a brand. And let's be clear, nobody knows you. So it's going to be a challenge to sell things to people, your brand. I don't care how good it is, how great it looks. It's going to be a challenge to sell something that nobody knows you. Nobody's aware of it. Large corporations spend millions of dollars on marketing and advertising, getting their brand out there. From their brand colors to their logos to even, you know, little sayings. But you as a small business owner, you gotta build from the ground up. So it's going to be a challenge. Before you start your t-shirt business, there's going to be some questions that's going to need to be answered. Every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have what's called Teachable Tuesday. Now, on Teachable Tuesday, it's a monthly membership. You have access to download, you have access to replays, and you have access to myself and also my business partner, which is my wife, to ask us questions one-on-one. Here's the problem. We are not sugarcoating anything. So if you're walking around on eggshells, if your feelings are easily hurt, if you're the type of person that does not receive the truth well, then this may not be for you. You may be better, you know, off watching the famous craftator that's on social media, or the famous craftators that are on social media telling you what you want to hear. saying that all you need to do is. I think that's one of the biggest sell tactics, and I think it's one of the biggest lies, because there's no all you need to do is. See, there's somebody out there right now that's praying and saying that they're going to manifest things that you have to work for. There's no such thing as manifesting without the work. You still got to work. Faith without works is dead. So when anybody tells you that it's not going to be that hard to get started, it's not going to be that hard to get going, everybody doesn't have the same work ethic. Everybody doesn't have the same drive. You're working a 9 to 5 or 7 to 3 or whatever the case may be. You have a full family, you have full responsibilities, you have other things that are going on. And now you're saying that you want to start a business on the side. The easiest way, and we're talking about easy now, the easiest way to make money selling shirts is to have pre-made designs. Now, that's not going to sit well with everybody, because the majority of the people who get into the t-shirt business industry or the market, they feel like that they have something to say. So that means that they have their own designs. They have their own sayings. They have their own things that they want to market. And there's nothing wrong with that. But once again, you got to ask yourself, do you want to sell t-shirts, or do you want to sell your designs? Out of 331 million people in this country, out of 97% of them people being customers, 3% or less than 3% business owners, there's going to be some people that's going to say, hey, you know what? I just want a generic t-shirt. I just want something that I can wear around the house, an everyday t-shirt. So that means that you got to decide if you're going to sell generic designs, if you're going to sell custom or personalized designs. If you're going to sell generic designs, it's going to be much easier for you. If you're going to sell customized or personalized designs, here's some things that you're going to have to consider. One, do you know how to design? Can you design? Have you taken a design class? Do you understand the different verbiages, definitions? Do you understand what DPI is? Do you understand what pixelation is? Do you understand the sizes that you need to design in? Do you understand the fonts that you should be using when you design? Most people don't, because it's a skill that's learned. And most people are not going to take the time to learn that skill. Why? Because they're too busy working. And all they heard from that famous craft creator was all you have to do is. So it's something that you need to consider. If you're going to be doing custom and personalization, that means that there's another learning curve, which means you have to learn how to design. How many people are going to take the time to learn how to design? Now, there are some people that can actually go and outsource designing to designers on platforms like Etsy, Fiverr, Creative Fabrica. Lots of places have predetermined designs. But remember, you said you want to do it yourself. You wanted to have your own spin on things, and that's gonna sometimes hinder you from actually making money versus, starting a brand. You got to decide if you want to make money, or are you trying to start a brand? Are you trying to start a t-shirt business to where you're selling t-shirts, or are you trying to start a t-shirt brand? Two different things. Things that you need to know before you start your t-shirt business. I'm going to talk about a little of the back end things, the stuff that people don't want to deal with. All I want to do is make t-shirts and make some money. Well, what about pricing? How much are you going to sell your t-shirts for? Are you going to sell your t-shirts for the same price that somebody down the street, around the corner, or someone that you're familiar with on social media that's selling their t-shirts? Can't do that, because you don't know how much they pay for their supplies. As a matter of fact, if you're a current business owner, if you're currently a business owner on here, drop a number 2 in the comments, because I have a question for you. Do you know what your profit is, or your profit margin is, when you're making your garments, your items, your t-shirts? How do you determine your profit? Lots of different ways to determine your profit. You can do backwards. You can do like what I like to consider a backwards planning. Itemize everything, find out how much you cost to buy and make certain things, and then calculate your time, your electricity. You're talking about your poly mailers, your marketing, your marketing paraphernalia, your t-shirts, your transfers, all those things. You want to add those things up, and then you want to ask yourself how much it costs, and now how much of a profit that I want to make. Some people would tell you to do multiply times 3. That's a very simple way to do it. But what if multiplying times 3 brings your t-shirt to $50 and you have never created a market, you've never figured out your target audience, and now you're saying, hey, you know what? Nobody will buy from me. So you can't determine your cost by what we're doing, by what someone else is doing. What about if you're only selling your garments locally? You're in Tupelo, Alabama, and it's a town of 10,000 people, and everybody knows everybody's name, and you're selling your t-shirts, and you're trying to competitively, share your t-shirts for $30 a t-shirt, but they know that they can go to the local Walmart and get something similar off the rack for $15 or for $10. What do you do then? See, there's a lot of things that you have to do when starting a business, specifically a t-shirt business. The back end of your business. Marketing can be considered both front and back end. Inventory, record keeping. If you're going to start a business, you need to understand the importance of keeping records. Those classes that we have that are on our website right now that we can actually offer you individually or through our business membership, they're available right now. The things that a lot of the craft content creators will not mention to you while they are live selling you a class, selling you a digital class, or selling you the next fun challenge, they're not talking about that because their business model is built around your ignorance. Please believe that the definition of ignorance means not knowing, and you are ignorant if you fall for that okie doke. They're counting many of the craft content creators that are selling these classes and selling these digital pieces of services that they provide. They're counting on you not to be knowledgeable about how business works, because most of us have been taught to go to school, make good grades, and get a good job. And when we say, hey, now it's time that we want to start a business, we lead into business, or we lean into business with the same mindset of that. I'm going to work my business like I work my job. Tax deductions, record keeping and tax deductions go hand in hand. When you're actually operating a legitimate business, it's very important that you understand how to record your expenses. What I paid, how much I paid, what item did I buy, how much did it cost? What did I sell it for? What was my profit and loss, annual reports? These are the things that people run away from. And like I said, because it's not a sexy conversation, you won't hear a lot of people on social media talking about this, because that drives you away from their products, and it makes you want to stay a crafter. Once again, this conversation will not be for everybody. It never will be. It won't be for most people who say that they're in business, because it starts off saying, man, there's a lot of stuff that's involved in business. There's a lot of things that I have to do, things that you don't see at your job, that there are different departments. Things are sectioned off. You have your procurement department, the people who buy these things. You have your area that is the CFO, the chief financial officer, who's dispersing the funds. You're doing all of those things. You're the marketing person. You're the HR person. Not a lot of people go to school or have gone to school or even worked in some type of customer service. So now you're dealing with people like this person that's on another social media platform that comes on there. People are rude. So you have to be able to balance that as well. These are the things that are not talked about. But one thing that is talked about, and the one thing that is said, is that all you have to do is, they make it sound like it's so easy. Starting a t-shirt business is more than just making t-shirts. Asking questions like, how much should I pay for a heat press? What's the best printer to buy? What type of shirts should I use? Those are good questions, but those are basic questions. We have so much technology that is going on around right now that you can actually do your due diligence and do your homework. One thing I will tell you is, before you ask someone what's the best t-shirt to use, I recommend that you buy a t-shirt. You buy different t-shirts and you try them out. That t-shirt that you want to use, that best t-shirt that you think is the best, it may be too expensive. It may be out of your ballpark. Therefore, guess what? You won't be able to recoup the money that you paid for that t-shirt. Not a lot of people that are making t-shirts that are selling generic transfers or even doing brand companies selling their brand. Not a lot of people are buying $8 and $9 t-shirts. Yeah, they do exist. Not a lot of people are buying $9 t-shirts. Most people are buying $2 and $3 t-shirts. So you have to know the best or the better questions to ask. Anybody heard of a guy named Tony Robbins? Has anybody ever heard of a guy named Tony Robbins? If you have, Tony Robbins has been around for a while. He's known as a motivational or inspirational speaker. But you're going to pay thousands of dollars to sit in front of a Tony Robbins to get advice, recommendations, and suggestions as to know which way to go to get that information. You are asking $1,000 questions of people who are here on social media, and you're getting answers. I'm not saying that you're getting the best answers or the right answers, but you're getting answers. Once again, I got to emphasize this. When you're just getting started, there are 3 things that people want. Somebody who's just starting their t-shirt business or their crafting business, there's 3 things that they want. They want it free, they want it cheap, and they want it fast. They want free information, they want cheap supplies, and they want a way to make fast money. And there are people who are out there ready to give you exactly what you want. But you got to be careful, because you can't complain about getting what you want after you get it and then finding out that that's not what you really needed. In our business membership, we talk about in detail how to actually build a business. Any kid, I can take a 8, a 9, or a 10-year-old and show them how to make a t-shirt. It doesn't take a lot of skill to make a t-shirt. Now, it's going to take some skill to learn how to design. But I think what's happening is people have their minds focused on the wrong things when it comes to talking about starting a t-shirt business. I think we're focused on the money on the front end, not understanding that it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep. Once again, most of us have been taught to go to school, make good grades, get a good job. And when we transition to wanting to start a business or actually starting one, we take the knowledge that we know from a job and we try to make it transition to or translate to a business. And it's not going to work. For those of you who have jobs, if you currently have a job and you have a business on the side, there are some strategies that you can use that we teach as well in our business building membership that a lot of people don't understand. And it deals with tax minimization. I think the biggest misconception about owning a business and or starting one is that you don't understand how to legally lower your taxes. A lot of people don't understand how important tax minimization is when being in a business, which brings me back to record keeping. But if you don't understand having a job that the majority of the people are overpaying taxes, and then you get a business, now you have a tax strategy. If you don't understand that, then basically what you're doing is you're just running around in circles, listening to people who sound good on the internet, but they're not doing what they're saying, or they're not in a position to positively affect the outcome of what you're doing. That's not a good plan. She's famous. He's famous. She's popular. He's popular. He's been selling ink for years. She's been selling paper and ink and courses for years. They've made you feel comfortable. You feel like you're a part of the family. You can get on their lives and you can ask questions. But when you start looking at what they're doing and what they're not talking about, is what they're saying actually helping you to move forward in your business? And 9 times out of 10, I hate to say it, but unfortunately it's not. Starting a t-shirt business, any business, is a lot more work than just doing that action. Whether you're doing hair, whether you're doing lawn care, have a crafting business, or specifically making t-shirts, it's more than just creating that product. There's a lot more. So once again, every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we talk about the benefits in our business membership of being a business owner. We talk about how to increase and improve your cash flow. Once again, this is a boring conversation. Talking about how to keep money is boring because we see so many hustlers out there on social media. All they're doing is they're constantly showing you different ways that they making money. One minute they're selling their own paper brand, and the next minute they're doing a content creation studio. They're hustling. They're never building something. They're doing private label rights. And then now they have a content studio. And they're not adding these things to their business model. That's not what they're doing. They found something that was popular, or they're finding things that are popular. They're seeing where your attention is, and then they're jumping on it. Never once building a business. See, here's the thing. The one thing that you have to understand this, whether you want to build a business or whether you're just content with having a job, you are going to build a business in your lifetime. Some of you are going to build several businesses in your lifetime. That means that you're going to work on a job for somebody else. And you're probably saying, well, hey, you know what? I got a good paying job. Hey, be thankful for your job. Just don't be satisfied. Just know that, especially with what's going on in this country and in this world, just understand that nothing, not even a good paying job, is guaranteed. Not even a good paying job. So while you're sitting there saying, hey, you know, I got a good paying job, I just want a couple of extra dollars a month on the side so I can have a nice vacation or live a better life. I thought you had a good paying job. See, once again, a business is a strategy, because a good paying job comes with paying a lot of taxes. A good paying job usually puts you in a higher tax bracket, which means you have less deductions. And not understanding the benefits of a business, which a lot of craft content creators don't explain, or content creators in general don't explain, unless that's their business model. Because let's face it, people cannot talk about and explain what they don't understand, or that they're not doing themselves. It's going to be hard for somebody who is telling you about the newest trend It's going to be hard for somebody who's telling you about how you can do the next best craft trend or fad. It's going to be hard for someone to tell you that is out there making dances and, making people laugh. It's going to be hard for them to tell you how to keep your money if they don't know how to keep it themselves. But they can make you laugh. They can show you how to make that Easter box or that Easter basket. They can show you how to use your time to make a Jeep out of foam board. It's fun. But later on down the line, all of that money that you spent, because crafting is an expensive hobby, all of that money that you spent, you don't have a clue of how to legally write it off. You don't understand the importance of how that can legally lower your taxable income. You don't understand the importance of how that can actually help you to build and gain wealth. Because the conversation is not exciting. It's not something that somebody wants to hear. I'll just go back to work because it's just too much work. The funny part about what I just said is that if your job told you to do record keeping, if your job told you to annotate the expenses, if your job told you to learn pricing, if they told you to figure out certain things involving your job, you do it. But when someone tells you that it is a requirement to be successful in business, it's just boring. So if you want to start a t-shirt business, you have to know what type of t-shirts you're going to make. You got to know the process that you're going to use. Don't let us or anybody else who's selling transfers make that decision for you. If you're going to start a t-shirt business, it's imperative to understand the write-offs, the tax deductions, the importance of record keeping, the importance of understanding how to pick the right tax professional. All those things are important. Marketing is important. If you can understand that and understand the reason why you need to know these things and that you have to have that balance, you can be successful, even if you don't make a lot of money. Or you can continue to follow the popular people that are not telling you this. So if you are interested, and this is your call to action, if you are interested in joining our business membership, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, take the time to comment membership. That's if you're interested. Okay. If you're interested in joining the membership, comment membership, and I will respond with the link to join. Okay. People fear what they don't know and what they don't understand. And that's really unfortunate. The rules that we follow, the rules that are created as far as business is concerned, they were created for everybody. There's no one type of person that these rules apply to. They apply to everyone. So when I tell you, whether you know me, whether you followed us, whether you've heard us talk about this before or not, when I tell you that you can become wealthy learning how to legally lower your taxes using a business as a strategy, believe it. Or the alternative is to be afraid of what you don't understand. The alternative is to keep on spending money on crafting projects and keep on lining those people's pockets that are not teaching you how to improve and enhance your financial situation. Because a business is supposed to not just make you money, a business is supposed to help you to build wealth. And you cannot build wealth in a business if you don't understand how to keep the money that you make. Like I always say, when you know better, that's when you have the ability to do better. And the only knowledge that's powerful is probably each and every one of you guys.